Alright, this is my first video. I'm gonna go by the masked researcher for now, or you can call me Rebecca, because me and my cousin are just gonna call each other by our first names anyway. But I figured, make this a little fun, try to keep myself somewhat anonymous, keep the mask on. With that being said, I've been going through the files, I've been reading a lot of stuff online, and as someone who's got 2 STEM majors, I know that a lot of people were not doing their research well. They were not going to primary resources, they were not going into the files, they were just saying whatever was convenient for them to say, or they were taking from tertiary resources and creating their own conclusions. And I was not happy with all the lies and all the misinformation being spread around. And I've seen this a lot with science and reports where people will go online, there will be like some sort of fancy claim like, oh, we now can create fetuses without using the eggs from women, and it's like, no, I already know that's not true, so I'll go in and read the paper of which that claim was initially taken from. I'm like, yeah, no, based off of the original research, that's not a true claim at all. But anyways, that got me down the rabbit hole of Jeffrey Epstein. Speaking of which, actually, that was part of it. Then the other part was my cousin over here, Aiden. He decided to start spamming me with stuff that Erica Kirk was a honeypot, which I now believe she was a honeypot. And then I started hearing that she was in the Epstein files. That's another reason why I wanted to go into the Epstein files. Last time I checked, she was not, but they've added more files to the Epstein files. Did I tell you this, Aiden? In the last
Yeah, you sent me the text, and yeah, there's, you said it got like 10% bigger than the last time you checked?
About 10% more for each name I've looked up. Now, the one name that I wish I had screenshot more names. I wish I had recorded more names and more results. But the one guy I know for certain, and he is actually not mentioned in the list. I gotta bring this up. The list that is going around on like Instagram and on other platforms, it's supposed to be like 300 names, does not mention this guy. They say, oh, here's the list. Here's the list of all the names that are in the Epstein files. That is an incomplete list. That is a fake list, because I keep finding names that are not mentioned in the list. And they're mentioned thousands of times. And one of those examples is Mort Zuckerman. Mort Zuckerman is, I believe, the CEO of CBS. And if I remember correctly, I'll go look that up really quickly. Let me remind me that that's the topic we're staying on. But he is editor-in-chief of U.S. News and World Report, and he goes by his full name is Mortimer Zuckerman, but he's called Mort in the texts in the emails going back and forth. I haven't even bothered to look up his full name yet. I've just looked up Mort Zuckerman because he kept popping up when I was looking through, and he's not mentioned in the original files. So I thought that was problematic.
Yeah, it's definitely strange.
In the list, yeah. So my theory is that the billionaires, they're trying to keep them off the list, and because all the people that I'm finding, they're like they've worked with big names, and they're billionaires, or they're close to being billionaires, or they're ultra rich, but they're not ultra famous. And those are the people that are kind of being swept under the rug. They're not being. I don't see him on any lists. And another one that I thought was interesting was Tommy Mottola. And now I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, and any Michael Jackson fan will know the name Tommy Mottola. He was known for kind of like taking over Michael Jackson's creativity sort of aspect. Like, he was very controlling of what Michael was allowed to do while Michael Jackson was alive. And Michael Jackson himself called this guy the devil. And he pops up. I know people talked about Michael Jackson in the files. He wasn't a PDF file or whatever. He wasn't a spy. He's just talked about pretty much in passing. He did take a picture of Jeffrey Epstein, but that's because Michael Jackson was in town looking for a house to buy, and in one of the houses he looked at just so happened to be Jeffrey Epstein's. And Jeffrey Epstein, if you look at the files, it's obvious that he was a fan of Michael Jackson's music, but he did make fun of him. I'm getting totally off track. The point is, Tommy Mottola pops up way more than Michael Jackson. And I haven't found any contact information between them before Michael Jackson died. So the whole thing is just really weird. There's a whole lot of stuff in there that no one's talking about. And I will link and list certain files down below. I only got, right now I don't have everything set up so far, not to the way I want it to, but so we're only going to have 30 minutes for this first video. So I don't even know where to start, Aiden. Where should I start? Because maybe I should start by prefacing Erica Kirk.
Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of where it all started, but every time when I ask you about it, it seems like you haven't found any leads.
No, I haven't.
I guess the thing that probably got everybody thinking that Erica Kirk, it was in the Epstein files, is one, she had an orphanage in Romania, but you didn't find anything on that, but that's not here nor there. I'd probably say maybe Jeffrey's affiliation with Israel.
Yeah, he's definitely linked very heavily with Mossad in Israel. Like, that's pretty much beyond a shadow of a doubt. Although I haven't really looked into any files regarding that. I haven't seen any, like, everything I've heard. I did, like, he does have some, I think I did see some files where he is talking about Israel, but I think that's pretty much, like, confirmed on a government level that is the case, but I haven't read any files about that. But Erica Kirk was, at least as of last time I checked, I haven't checked recently, the government actually, as of this recording, the last time they updated the files was yesterday. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what did they put in there? Was it like old stuff, or was it stuff that the FBI is gathering and it's like new files, like it's dated as of yesterday or dated as of the last few days? Because it was like 10% more for some of these people. I'm going to go through a list. I have a list, my own personal list. I know it's funny because we're all talking about lists right now of all the mentions. But Erica Kirk so far, not mentioned in the files. She's not even mentioned with her maiden name. That's the interesting thing. She's not even mentioned with her maiden name. So Erica Kirk, not in there. Charlie Kirk is, but he's only mentioned once before his death. And that's another thing I found interesting, is like, why do they have files? Why do they have files being put in there after Jeffrey Epstein died? Because he died back in 2019. And of course, Charlie Kirk died back in September of 2025. So that makes no sense. Why are they putting in more files that popped up after his death? That's something I don't understand. Like, they're called the Jeffrey Epstein files. How can we still have files popping up relating that closely to Jeffrey, or at least so many of them that they're putting them in there? And then they got 10, like I said, they got 10% more. And I was gonna say, but I totally forgot to mention. So Mort Zuckerman, this is interesting. So back as a testament to what I was saying about there being more files being added, he does not have a full 10% added on, but he went from just having 1,317 files back on the 15th of February, whereas as of today, he has 1,395 files put on him in the Epstein files. And I'm going off of what the government files are, the Department of Justice, departmentofjustice.gov/Epstein. They got a whole section for him. I will say another thing that they're lying about, that I know the government's lying about, to the nothing that has shown me that they're not lying, is that they said they took out duplicates of files. They did their best to take out duplicates. I highly doubt they did their best, because I keep finding duplicates. So I'll find out of the 3.5 million files, I'm wondering, like, how many are duplicates and how many are relevant. And then, like, there's so many redactions. Like, I remember this is another one that got me. The first one, okay, Oprah. I just realized. So Oprah has a decrease in the ones that came up with her name. The reason why I know that is because the first time I looked up her name, there was the first file I opened, the whole page was redacted. It was like it was showing who the forwarding list. The whole page was redacted. It was just a blank slate. It was just a blank slate, blacked out, just line after line after line. There's just nothing there, you know? So Oprah, I did not see that file when I went back to check on her, and now she only has 2 files. she had a decrease in files in the last 6 days. So did Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg, I believe, had 49. I remember her having more. I remember her having like 49. I could be a little incorrect because I was very tired when I was looking this up, but I remember Whoopi Goldberg having 49. Oprah didn't have a full page, like she didn't have 10. 10's like a full page that the Department of Justice will put out. There'll be 10 results at a time. But now there's more. Now there's less. Now there's less for Oprah, Whoopi Goldberg, and Oprah. As for people who have more, Bill Gates has had like almost a 10% increase. He went from 2,400 something to 2,616. Donald Trump went from about 1,400 to 1,740. Bill Clinton, I remember very distinctly, had less than 1,200. Now it's 1,602. I'm going over my list. So, but do you want to take a guess? Like, you don't know the name, but do you want to take a guess in terms of association? Who has the most mentions?
Who has the most mentioned out of just everybody that we have discussed thus far?
Well, it's like you're gonna have to just. I think I mentioned her name to you before, but not in this conversation as of yet. But she is mentioned more times than anyone else I found so far. Do you want to take a guess who she is in relation to Jeffrey Epstein?
Ooh, in relation to business associate, I would assume.
You're very close. She is his personal assistant.
Right, the personal assistant.
Yeah, so the personal assistant. You want to take a guess how many times she's mentioned?
Man, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1,000 or higher.
I've already listed Bill Gates as 2,616. You want to take another guess?
Okay.
She is mentioned 163,335 times.
Dang. That's a lot.
And no one is talking about her. That's another reason why I wanted to make this video. No one is talking about all these people who keep popping up. They're only talking about the celebrities. And they keep, my theory.
Well, in the end, that's kind of all what the general public cares about, you know?
I think that's the point.
Thing about the matter.
Yeah, because they don't want to be, watching. I'm gonna have to look up Adam Sandler, by the way, because he's sus. But that's the whole. I think that's the point, is to have people's outrage be targeted towards the celebrities, when really the people you need to be concerned about is all these billionaires. And so I think that's what's really going on, is like the sacrificial lambs are the billionaire. Are these celebrities. I think the sacrificial lambs are the celebrities. They're there to just kill off when they're no longer convenient. And then the billionaires, this is why Tommy Mottola, this is why Mark Zuckerman is not being brought up in any list or in any capacity, despite the fact that they're brought up thousands of times. And Tommy Mottola was good buddies with Jeffrey Epstein. That was made obvious. There is no doubt in my mind that they were good buddies, because Tommy Mottola was sending Jeffrey Epstein's chocolates. He's sending him gift baskets. Tommy Mottola's asking when he can come over for dinner. He's asking when he can talk to Jeffrey Epstein again. They are close friends to some capacity. Yeah. And it gets concerning when you take into consideration a lot of the food that is mentioned in these files is code for something that is not food. And I have not looked into muffins as of today, but muffins is definitely code for something. And then I was listening to someone earlier, and he was saying that coconuts was code for something. Pizza for sure. People have gotten the pizza. I
watched a video that someone decoded a lot of the code, but yeah, it's pizza was boys. I think it's cupcakes for girls. I know that you said that muffins was for girls, or
I think
I might be wrong about.
I think muffins are for girls.
Oh, pizza for girls. That's right.
Yeah. Well, pizza is for girls, but I think muffins are too. But I think they thought that pizza was for doing SA. And
I thought that was grape soda.
that probably too. I think it's all just in there. But another thing
it's all kind of sick, and you're not gonna want to eat any of those things when you
no. Oh boy.
learn language. Unfortunately, so disgusting.
Well, good thing that there's a huge cuisine world over, and we're just starting to get into the Western world's only is just starting to get into what the people like over in Japan and China and stuff like that. So fortunately, it's mostly Western foods, for better or for worse. There's other foods out in the world that we can enjoy. But speaking of cultural diversity, you'll just be reading, if you go into the files, you'll just be reading a regular email, and then you'll just read the most casual racism you've ever seen. Like, they're just... This.
So that's what the elites are up to, just minding their own business, and then...
It's weird.
That is terrible.
It's weird because I did find an email earlier today. Let's see if I can find it. Shoot, I gotta remind myself, I gotta put this in the email from it was some sort of prince. It was I think I got it in my phone. But there was some sort of Middle Eastern prince that... Dang, I don't know if I got it. But I remember I saw it from this guy. Who... It was the Sultan. Yeah, so that's the weird thing. They interact with people of other races, and then they're just talking casual racism amongst each other, so it just shows how much disrespect they have for their associates. But this was a joke about Hillary Clinton, and it doesn't look like it's code for anything. It's just a joke about Hillary Clinton, but it's to Jeffrey Epstein from Sultan bin Suleiman, Soleim. And it's a joke about Hillary Clinton being pregnant, but it's I don't get the joke. Like, I really don't, so I'm not gonna say it. I'll just list that file later and worry about it later. But what else should we talk about in our first go around in this video, because I'm just getting started going in.
Yeah, I feel like I became really unorganized. I guess I probably shouldn't be so surprised about the casual racism, because if I recall correctly, Epstein had several projects where it's very eugenic.
Yeah, I haven't found these particular files, but I keep hearing about them, and I'm very cautious, because there was one that was making the rounds saying Leonardo DiCaprio ate human flesh, and I couldn't find anything supporting that. I could find nothing, unless they're using a code name for Leo. But when I looked up Leo's name, there was nothing. I couldn't find anything on Leonardo DiCaprio, other than there was something about neurology. I didn't go that deep into it, but there was nothing there. I didn't read any actual file, but at just a preliminary glance, I didn't notice anything. And so I'm just this doesn't look like the other files I've seen where it looks very suggestive. But I'll go back in to look and see if I can find anything on Leonardo DiCaprio, especially since I know that they're adding more files as time goes on. But there's a lot of stuff in that people are spreading around that I know is fake. And then I know that the way they have it worded, in this way where a good lawyer can pick apart the wording. If they had a good lawyer, if they have the right jury, they could probably convince the jury that all of this food stuff, that it's not code. They're just talking about eating coconuts in Barbados or something like that. Or they were talking about having pizza at Jeffrey's place. They're just having a regular pizza party. What's wrong with a pizza party? I think you could get a good enough.
It's the details. I had, once again, referring to the video that I watched a while ago, the guy you know, like he broke down like the exact like sentence, like them having a pizza party, but it was weird. It was like they'll be wearing like thongs and on Viagra and stuff like that. It's just all like
it's not that
you
subtle.
were to draw that as a cartoon and then compare that to like normal people's behavior at a pizza party, it does not add up at all.
Yeah, no, it does. No, a lot of the stuff in there, but it was the muffins that got me. I'll have to make an episode on muffins, because the muffins that was a trip, like seeing the muffins. But here's another thing. Like, I think I just want to do a preliminary look at this to begin with, just so that people have an idea of what they're being lied to about, and then we can send this video off to our friends and whatnot, and then people can be like, hey, look, this is what's in the files. This, Rebecca's going through them, and she realized a lot of people were lying, and so head of Pepsi.
Oh yeah, and that's kind of the sad reality of it. It's like everybody's too busy fighting for their party lines to not just look at the facts of the matter, and that's why we're angry at our current government, because they're not just dropping the files and let us make heads or tails of it.
And that's something also that I've noticed with the big time commentators. The more closely they are associated to politics, the less they are talking about this. That seems to be what I'm seeing. And then I'm seeing stuff that doesn't look even true. Like, I haven't read enough about Trump to state any of this, but he does look guilty. Like, everything I've read on him in the files so far, he does look very guilty. He is in lists. There is one particular list. I'll see if I can find that one. Here it is. It is file number EFTA 00161528, and it says positive case hits. See attachment for serials, and there were no attachments in this particular one. Highlighted contains salacious information. Donald Trump, one identified victim, claimed abuse by Trump, but ultimately refused to cooperate. Prince Andrew, Jess Staley, Leon Black, Glenn Dubin, Harvey Weinstein. They're all listed in yellow. Those are the guys listed in yellow for salacious information that they were highlighted. And then after that, here's more positive hit cases. Bill Clinton, Alan Dershowitz, David Copperfield, Les Wexner, who's currently under investigation. He's currently on, I don't know if he's on trial or just under investigation, but he's in, doing something. John Luke Burnell, Naomi Campbell, Chris Tucker, Larry Summers, Kevin Spacey, Didier. It's spelled Didier. Bill Gates. And here's at the bottom, it says no hit. Adnan Khashoggi, Reid Hoffman, and Piers Morgan. So I'm guessing that means that they think that they're innocent. The last three they think are innocent. But everyone else, like, I gotta look further into the yellow names. Like, everyone, there's so much in here that no one is talking about. And everyone seems to think, oh, by the way, I tried to look at the flight logs. The flight logs are very interesting, because they are out. And it's really hard to understand the flight logs, because it's just like three letters to show you where the destination is. And so I was just doing a quick look at them, a quick glance, and I was like, shoot, I don't know where these places are. And I'm guessing Little St. Jeff would be LSJ for a destination, but it's not. I didn't see an LSJ when I was going through it. I did see Jeffrey Epstein's name listed a whole lot. So there is a flight log, but it's hard to tell where they were going. And a lot of the people they're trying to make out to be monsters didn't do anything or weren't that closely associated. A lot of people they're trying to make out to be saints were not saints. They just weren't doing anything bad. So yeah, it's been a very interesting time going through all these files, trying to figure out anything, because the more I read, the less things make sense. The more that goes, what makes it worse is all these people putting out false information, and then that just really muddies the water, and then it gets really confusing. So, but the government, and the government lying to us bold-faced, like the whole time they've been lying to us. I don't believe Trump's innocent. I definitely don't believe Bill Gates is innocent. He's like everywhere. He's got more mentions than Trump. Who else was I looking at? Bill Clinton. He's definitely don't believe he's innocent. Yeah.
I mean, look up Hillary Clinton. I know that she went on a PR tour recently and tried to stay face. That all they did when they were with Epstein was charity work.
I did find her. She was mentioned 740 times, and there was some interesting stuff about her. Now I don't remember the exact details, but it did look like she was involved in salacious stuff. Now I'm gonna have to go back. I probably should just do a deep dive on each and every one of these people, but I'm just like trying to get like numbers, taking a quick look to see who looks guilty or not. The only one who I really went through all the files on was Michael Jackson, because he didn't have that many to begin with. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, and it really wasn't even files on him. It was for concerts, Michael Jackson themed concerts, because they were in 2012, the Michael Jackson Circus LA. But that was pretty much for the most part, the extent. But anyways, he's not really the only one I was able to get a good look at. Everyone else, because there's like literally thousands. Well, Ellen DeGeneres, she was another one I got a good look at, because there's not too much on her. She's only got 17, and she looks pretty innocent in this. But Oprah, the fact that she had, I know for a fact she had more than 2 to begin with, and the one I initially saw is now gone. That's suspicious. Same with Whoopi. Whoopi was going to the same charity events that Epstein was. Oh, and then the one more thing. I do list this. I'm going to list this in the summary. They list. I don't know who this is. This is very confusing to me, because they say that the head of Pepsi is coming to this event, but they don't name him. They give everyone else a name, but in brackets it says black, but I don't know what that means, because the heads of Pepsi, it was a white guy and an Indian lady. So I don't know if they and I think the white guy's name, his last name was White. I'm gonna look it up.
Could be more code.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's what it is, because it is food, but it's like that one made no sense. Who else was in there? So can't find the other guy right now. It's weird how you go back. That's another. Have you gone through anything about the whole thing on Jeffrey Epstein? Like, you'll be just scrolling and then boom, the thing's gone, or you'll be reading and it just vanishes as soon as you click on it.
I've watched a handful of videos. I tried to watch like an hour and a half breakdown of like the first wave of files. I don't know if the video itself is still up, but I couldn't stomach it. I did not last 14 minutes in. I had to drop out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I only got a minute and 30 before this particular. Like I said, I've only gotten started with the different platforms, and I can only go for 30 minutes until I get it where I can just live stream on YouTube. But so I don't no idea who this head of Pepsi is. Didn't make sense that it was the Indian lady or the white guy, because it says in brackets that he's black. Yeah. There's so much here that just makes absolutely no sense. Oh, shoot. I found one of the pizza ones, but we can't talk about it right now. We're gonna. You want to do a second one of these, like, right after this recording?
Oh, sure. I'm game.
All right, guys. Hopefully we'll have 2 recordings out tonight. Peace out. Hopefully we'll get to the bottom of this. Bye.